My dear friends in Jesus, I'm going to share how Jesus has been in my life right through, how supportive He was, how He was leading me right up to now. I just remember the Bible verse from Exodus. Be still, it is I who fight for you. Be still, it is I who fight for you. When I look back into my life, I see Jesus everywhere. I see how He led me, how He walked with me, how He helped me to overcome all what I went through. Um, the most striking incident was when I was diagnosed with a minor form of a cancer due to a pregnancy, and they diagnosed that I was um, having this something called HMOL. So I had this HMOL pregnancy where the blood count, that is beta HCG, the count has to be lower than some given number. So by and by it started increasing. So I was asked to uh, meet a gynecologist, and then apparently I was given chemotherapy. So when chemo is given, you psychologically you fall a lot, right? And I had a long hair, and when you think of losing it, it's not, psychologically you are not stable. But I don't know how, and I'm sure it was God's interference. I went to work as usual. Um, that was actually miraculous. The way I overcame that, I did my usual day-to-day activities. Um, it was not a pleasant experience, of course, but my talking with Jesus, me associating with Him, um, talking to Him, um, my prayers really took a long way. So I was able to overcome. Jesus sent me a lot of people um, into my life, in the sense my family, my relatives, friends, all of them were around me to encourage me, to console me, and I overcame that um, that physical ailment that I had. But with that, I was asked not to conceive for 2 years. So as usual, um, as any lady would do, I also was expecting to have my next baby. I went through a lot of medical, um, went through a lot of, um, depended a lot on medicine, but then um, nothing worked out with medicine. So I gave up that thought, because I thought I was aging, and then that was not the time to have another baby. So basically, we were happy with one child, and I thought I'm going to give up that idea. So this is where Jesus made that impossible possible. Um, I was blessed with my second child. I became pregnant, So that is also another um, important um, milestone in my life where God's um, healing hands were on me. Um, with that, life was quite normal. But then all of a sudden, during childbirth, uh, I actually had a quite a big struggle. Uh, the doctor said the child was in a critical condition, but I was telling myself, having gone through all these things, Jesus will not do that to me. That faith that I had in Jesus was kept, and there were so many doctors around me treating my baby to see whether they could do anything. I actually did not um, lose my hope even for a millisecond. I was so hopeful that nothing will happen to the child. So it was so miraculous. It took about 45 to 50 minutes, um, and he got his um, breath back. So these two incidents, uh, rings in my mind right through how his divine providence healed me, touched me, and how he takes me through a lot of trials and sorrows that we face in our day to day lives. You know, as we always say, life is full of ups and downs. Yeah, it's quite true, but I know my witness is that even with that up and down, if you remain hopeful, if you remain faithful, nothing can touch you. His healing hands will definitely be there. So I remember with that, my son's um, arm became kind of paralyzed, and three nerves were not functioning. So they called it Erb's palsy, and he had to be given physiotherapy. So doctors asked us to go for physiotherapy, do physiotherapy every day. So we did all of that. And when he went to the pediatrician the next time, he actually couldn't identify which hand the child had Erb's palsy. So miraculous. It's the main thing that I see is how I remained hopeful, how I did not give up um, on my thought, on my faith, and how I was hoping and praying that things will be all right. So, according to my thought, things became actually normal with all the other things. So, I see Jesus in my everyday life. You know, when it comes to work, I'm a working mother, so it's not easy. You know, the challenges we come across in our offices, what we see in our lives, even in personal life, the ups and downs we have in family lives. Sometimes it's very difficult to take up the cross, very difficult to think, even, how we overcome certain things in our lives. But actually, I was able to overcome because I know He has been with me right through. Sometimes you are not able to take decisions because I have felt I might take that judgment into my hands. So I never wanted to take that judgment into my hands, but I was always hoping and praying and asking God to intervene, asking God to look into that matter, whatever I have gone through in my life. So He has been there for me, always directing me, and when you are in that spirit, He speaks to you, directing you as to what to do and all that. So I'm quite happy how His interference, His divine providence leads me. Um, so I always remember this Bible verse, be still. It is I who fight for you. Be still.